Hi, so it's now Monday, September 15th, and I do have a reading update on Falling Like Leaves. I've made it to page 167, chapter 20. So let me first tell you a little bit about what this is about, and then we'll talk about my thoughts so far. So this book follows teenager Ellis, who's just about to start her senior year of high school, but right before school is supposed to start, Alice's parents drop a bombshell on her, and they say that they are going to separate for a little bit and spend some time apart. And so Alice's mom is going to go live with her aunt in Connecticut for a little bit, and her mom says that Alice is coming with her. Alice is not thrilled about this revelation at all, and she does not understand why she has to go with her mother because her whole life is in New York, and this senior year is very important to her because she's been working very hard the last couple of years in order to get into Columbia University and then to become a journalist and join her dad's company. But despite her arguments, Alice's mother does end up dragging her off to Connecticut. And so they go off to this small town called Bramble Falls in Connecticut, where Alice's aunt and her cousin, who's a year younger than her, lives. And Alice used to visit her aunt and cousin in this town every summer, but then stopped when she got into high school and got busy with academics in her future. And so Alice doesn't have any plans to make any friends or any connections in this town whatsoever because they're only going to be there for a short time and then they're going to be going home around Thanksgiving time. And also, she's just not thrilled to be there at all. But despite this, she finds herself being pulled into the town community and their fall festivities and also making friends with some of the kids that live in the town. And she also ends up being reunited with her first kiss, Cooper, who she hasn't seen in 3 years. And upon first seeing him again, he treats her really coldly. And her cousin is like, "What did you do to him? Like, he's like nice to everyone. What did you do?" And Alice is super confused because she doesn't know what she did. And the last time they hung out together 3 years ago, they were like the best of friends and they kissed. And then after that summer, they ended up texting each other for a while. And so she doesn't really know what is going on there with him. And it turns out that her aunt and Cooper's mother are both in charge of running the fall activities that happen in the town. And so her and Cooper end up meeting and being stuck together during some of those fall activities. And so our story goes from there. So now for my thoughts. So far, I've just been having a cute, cozy, fun, good time with this book. And before reading this book, I read a fantasy romance book, and that book like ended on a horrible cliffhanger and shattered my heart into a million pieces. And so I just really needed like a cozy, feel good book. And so far, this is turning out to be that. And also, the fall vibes in this book are everything that I wanted. They're like top tier. So, this town, Bramble Falls, is known for going all out in the fall. And you see that as soon as Alice gets to the town. And you learn that during October in this town is falling leaves season. And so every weekend in September and October, there are fall activities going on. Alice's aunt is the people that's in charge of all these activities. And so Alice and her mother end up helping her out with the activities. And so in a lot of the chapters, you get to see Alice participating in these fall themed festivities. And so you really feel the fall vibes in this book. And then, in addition to the fall vibes, you also have a romance in here as well between Alice and Cooper. Cooper works at this coffee shop in the town called the Caffeinated Cat, which is a cat cafe, which just sounds so cozy. But also, throughout the book, he's been bringing Alice these different flavored cookies from the cafe, and all of them sound so good. And there's one cookie that's like a cherry fruity pebbles cookie, and I'm just like, that sounds so good. And I've never made like fruity pebbles cookies before, but I've seen recipes around and I've always been intrigued. And so now I might end up making those in a couple of days when I have the time. And I was planning on baking something fall themed in this video, but now I really want to try making fruity pebbles cookies. But we'll see if that happens. But anyways, I am really enjoying the romance so far, and I'm also really liking Alice as our main character. And it's clear that she is very driven because she has been focused on getting into Columbia University and becoming a journalist, which is admirable, but also at the same time, it's kind of a double-edged sword because you see that she's been so focused on this goal of getting into Columbia and becoming a journalist that she's kind of like been missing out on some other stuff in life. Like, she's not really been enjoying her teenage years. She doesn't really indulge in hobbies that she loves. She doesn't really have many friends. And her father is also kind of responsible for this as well, because he pushes her just to focus on getting into Columbia in journalism. And so while this book is very cute and cozy, it is also a coming of age story with an important message of figuring out what you want to do with your life and not letting others decide that for you. So those are all my thoughts for now on this. My next update will probably be when I finish this with my final thoughts. Hi, so it's now Wednesday, September 17th, and I'm here with a reading update, which is I finished Falling Like Leaves. I finished this morning, and I'm giving this 5 stars. I love this so much. This is now my new favorite fall romance book. This book has the ultimate fall vibes. The fall vibes in here are immaculate. And I also love the romance in here. This is a YA romance, so the romance is super cute and sweet and wholesome. And also, there's like no unnecessary drama in the romance. Like, is a little bit of drama, but it's not dragged out and it feels believable, like it would actually happen in a teenage romance. And also, I really love the small town vibes in here. Everyone in this town of Bramble Falls is just very nice and kind. And I love that even though Ellis is going to a new high school, there is like no mean girls and no bullies at the school. And I also thought that Ellis went through really good character development in this as well. And so those are all my thoughts on this book. I definitely recommend it, especially if you're looking for a really cute and wholesome romance with fall vibes. Oh, also, as you saw in the B-roll before this, I did end up making the Fruity Pebble cookies, and they were so good. Like, I've already had 3 of those cookies. They're not going to last very long in this apartment between me and my husband. The cookie base itself is a sugar cookie base, which by itself is really good. But then adding the Fruity Pebbles, it gives it like a burst of fruity flavor to it. And so I definitely recommend them. So I will link the recipe down below if you are interested. Next, I'm going to be jumping into Everything She Does Is Magic, which I'm really excited for. And just like look at this cover. This cover is stunning. So I'll be back once I've read some of this and have my first thoughts. Hi, so it's now Saturday, September 20th, and I'm here with a reading update on Everything She Does Is Magic. So I've made it to page 163, chapter 20. And so I'm a little more than halfway through this book because it is just under 300 pages. So since I'm about halfway through, I thought I'd do a little check-in. And so far, I have been enjoying this. It's just been a really cute and sweet and cozy read so far. And similarly to Falling Like Leaves, Everything She Does Is Magic has really good fall and Halloween season vibes. So this story takes place in the town of Fableview, and this town is known for its commitment to all things mystical, particularly witches, and they even say that real witches live there. And so this small town goes all out for Halloween and spooky season. And so far in the book, there has been some type of fall festivity going on. And the inhabitants of this town are like always in costume too while they are doing these events. And the ones responsible for making Fableview such a Halloween spooky season hotspot is the grandparents of one of our main characters of the story. So this story is told in dual perspectives, and one of those characters is Darcy. And Darcy and her parents are the ones that keep the Halloween spirit alive in Fableview. They do all the organizing and planning and running of the events. And Darcy's parents own a paint shop that was originally owned by her grandparents, and it's called Pam's Paints. And this paint shop also promotes the Halloween spirit of the town. For example, Darcy teaches a class where you paint a picture of a witch. But to make things feel even more magical and real and atmospheric, there's also lore about this painting and story behind this painting that is connected to the town's history. And adding even more to that, Darcy also dresses up exactly like the witch in the painting when she is teaching the class. And so this town really goes all out with its Halloween and spooky vibes. So Darcy has lived in this town all her life, and the expectation is that she's going to continue living there into adulthood and take over the paint shop from her parents and continue on with keeping the Halloween spirit alive in Fableview. But the thing is, Darcy isn't quite sure that she wants to do that. She kind of wants to explore other options, and she wants to leave Fableview. And she's even been researching colleges and even applied to one just to see if she would get in. But she can't really broach this topic of conversation with her parents because she knows that they expect her to take over the paint shop and she doesn't really want to let them down. And so she's just been keeping all this to herself. And the first person she actually ends up telling these doubts and hopes and dreams to is our second main character, Anya. So Anya is relatively new to town. She moved there about a year ago, and she is actually a real witch. Oh, one other more thing about Darcy is that even though she does everything to promote the feeling of magic in Fableview, she herself doesn't believe in real magic and she doesn't believe in witches. So Anya is a witch. As part of her family's tradition for her entire life, she has spent time with different family members. So she'll live with one family member for a year or two, and then she'll go and live with a different family member. So she, unlike Darcy, has been around to many different places and has never spent too long in one place. And Anya is a mender, which means that she can fix anything that's broken. So she can bring dead plants back to life. She could put together a broken cup, stuff like that. And that's another thing that I'm enjoying in this story so far, and that I think contributes to the spooky fall vibes in this book, and that is the magic that is in here. So Anya has mending power, like I mentioned, but it seems like every single witch has a different type of power. And it's mentioned that her magic is rare and impressive, and she's been told by family members that she might be the most powerful witch that their family has seen in centuries. And so that's a lot of pressure. And in many ways, Anya is Darcy's opposite because Anya is very reserved, very much an introvert, and she's very shy. So a lot of people don't understand Anya and they misread her silence and her shyness and take it as a bad thing. And add to that that she had a bad experience with someone who she thought was her friend once. And so she pretty much keeps to herself. She keeps her distance from people. And so she's garnered a little bit of a reputation of being weird. And Anya has always had a crush on Darcy, but she's never been able to get up the courage to talk to her. And she is so shy that when Darcy tries to make conversation with her when they end up being together in French class at school, Anya just can't respond. She can't find the words. And so at this point, Darcy doesn't really know what to think of her. But as a witch, a tradition in Anya's family is that when you turn 18, you end up choosing a mortal to be your protector. And so this protector knows that you are a witch, and they will help you out if you ever find yourself in trouble because of being a witch. And so Anya is going to be turning 18 soon, and so it's expected that she will name someone to be her protector. And so her family has been wondering about who she's going to name her protector, and one day she just blurts out that it's Darcy, and at this point she hasn't even spoken to Darcy at all since she's moved there. But now her parents expect her to bring Darcy to dinner when they come over in a couple of weeks. And so Anya knows that she has to do something, and so she ends up going to Darcy's paint shop, and she ends up talking to Darcy, and it ends up with her joining the planning committee for all the fall and spooky season festivities that go on in Fableview. And so from there, the book follows Darcy and Anya in their blossom friendship, and also them falling in love with each other. And so I'm very much enjoying the dynamic between Darcy and Anya. I very much like how they're opposites and how they complement each other. And it's just also really cute getting to see them come to know each other and understand each other. And one other fun detail that I want to share about this book is that while you're reading it, there's a countdown to Halloween. The very beginning starts with 26 days until Halloween. And then after chapter 5, it goes to 25 days until Halloween. And so every couple of chapters or so, you get this countdown to Halloween. And I just think that's really cool. And I almost wish I was reading this in October because you could start it and like go along with the countdown and like finish reading it on Halloween. But yeah, those are all my thoughts so far. Like I said, I'm enjoying it. I really have no complaints. It's just been a really cute and cozy story with excellent Halloween and spooky season vibes so far. Hi, so I finished Everything She Does Is Magic, and the ending of this was absolutely adorable and wholesome. And this book just left me smiling from ear to ear when I finished it. Anya and Darcy's relationship is just so cute and wholesome, and I really loved it. And in addition to this, towards the end of this, some side characters also got some development, and two of those side characters were ones that I wasn't really sure if I liked in the beginning of the book, but by the end of this book, I loved both of them as well. In addition to those side characters, Darcy and Anya's families as well also got some development near the end, and I also really loved them, and I just loved how loving and caring and supporting they were of Anya and Darcy, even though sometimes like the girls butted heads with their parents. In the end, the parents just wanted them to be happy and wanted what was best for them. And so overall, I really loved how wholesome and cute this book was. And also the Halloween vibes and the fall vibes in here were excellent. And I feel like this is a really good book to read in October. And this one is a standalone, so everything does get wrapped up in the end. But the last page of the book is an advertisement for another book called I Put a Spell on You. And this one is a continuation of this series, but it seems like it's going to be a series of interconnected standalones. And so in this one, we're going back to this town, but we're following two different characters, Piper and Ivy. And Piper, we were introduced to a little bit in here, so that's exciting. What's not exciting, though, is it says it's not coming out to spring 2027, so that's a little far away. But there's that to look forward to. So now that I finished this, we have reached the end of the vlog, so let's wrap things up. So I read this one, and I also read Falling Like Leaves, and I really enjoyed both of these. I recommend both of them depending on what you're in the mood for. This one is fall vibes, whereas this one has fall and Halloween vibes. And overall, I would say that I enjoyed Falling Like Leaves just a tiny bit more than Everything She Does Is Magic. And I gave this one a 5-star, and I'm going to give this one, I think, a 4.5. So not quite a 5-star, but I still really enjoyed this, and I especially like loved the ending and the last little bit of it. So let me know down below if you have read either of these, what you thought of them. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!